expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
You walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. I don't go to the house. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Ball is getting here. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's hunt. We ready. I don't go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this trying to read the mind, the heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. So much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You ought to make the big money. He's a man. When you step on the field, man, that's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You ain't gonna work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. I don't go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live, kyokradio.org, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. And I appreciate Ben Sutter III and the entire BS3 family. So, man, I got to tell you, I'm excited about this day. Talk to Your Team Tuesday. A lot to talk about in the world of sports with various teams, and I want to get you in. 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000. Talk to me about your team. And I mean, hit me up. You can text me 832-403-5005, or you can email me, aj@kyoksports.com. aj@kyoksports.com. I want to hear from the Laker fans. How you feeling about your team after the All-Star break? Anthony Davis going to be out for several weeks. Can they get it together with what they have and possibly pick up some players that might have their contracts bought out by their respective teams? I mean, how you feeling about your team? Cowboys, how are you feeling about your team heading into this upcoming season? Same thing with the Houston Texans. I've got Texan news. We'll talk about that. And Rocket fans, I have a feeling your team is going to remain at the bottom of the barrel in the West. Are you okay with that? That's what I want to talk about today. Real good stuff coming out of Texas Southern. They got a big win, two big wins over the weekend, and now they are in sole possession of first place in the SWAC. And don't look now, but the ladies have won 10 games in the SWAC and are looking very good. Hats off to Cynthia Cooper and the job she is doing with those lady TSU Tigers. Very impressed. Prairie View got wins over the weekend and yesterday as well. So we'll be talking about all of that. Of course, we'll talk about the suspensions and the fines that have come down after the Michigan-Wisconsin incident. I'm going to wait for Dr. J to join me before we talk about that. And again, we got to talk about stuff going on in college football. They were unable to reach an agreement to expand the playoffs. And what we have right now is what we're going to have until 2026, 2027. And I was surprised by the teams, or better yet, the conferences that voted against expansion. We'll talk about all of that right here on the show. 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or email me, aj@kyoksports.com. That's aj@kyoksports.com. You can also text me, 832-403-5005. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-395-9215. 800-395-9215. 800-395-9215. That's 800-395-9215.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. That's 800-811-4169. Not allowed to qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
I am Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. I often tell people that great is not something that you become. Greatness is something that you already are. Many times we shelter our greatness with the things that are on the outer surface. But to reach your great points in life, you've got to dig deeper. On the surface, you cannot find the diamond, but when you dig past the upper layer on the ground, diamonds shine. You uncover the hidden treasures that eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard. You unravel the things that will make you win.
This is Irma J from Internal Revamp, and you're listening to AJ on the Lunch Break.
Thank you, Irma J, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, all new 92.3 FM, streaming live, kyokradio.org. Keith Hennick, what up, though? Happy 22-22. Believe it or not, I'm doing 2 weddings today and was trying to squeeze in a third. Couldn't do that third one. Just couldn't get it in today. Everybody wants to get married on 2/22/22. What's up, Trey? Trey Pike says, possible hiring update. Cody Burns to the Saints as wide receiver coach. I'll take that. I really want to see what the Saints pull off at wide receiver, at running back, because Alvin Kamara can't do it by himself. Alvin Kamara can't be the workhorse all by himself, and then they got to fix that offensive line. Got to fix that offensive line. I want to see. I want to see. And of course, obviously, how much of a drop-off is it going to be going from Sean Payton as the offensive coordinator to, So, yeah, I'm a big Saints fan. My number one A or B team, whichever one you want to look at, New Orleans Saints, Cincinnati Bengals. Family from New Orleans, born and raised in Cincinnati. I don't care about the rules. You got to only have one team. Miss me on that. I've never played by anybody else's rules all the time. Never played by anybody else's rules all the time. Just haven't. Sorry. Not wired like that. So, yeah, I got two legit teams. Cowboy fans want to say how crazy that is. Y'all definitely don't get to make the rules. So, anyway, you want to talk Saints, you want to talk Bengals, I'm your guy. I'm really curious, who do you think has a good chance to do what Cincinnati did, to go from worst to first? Not saying that they will, but who do you think has a good chance to do it? Like, I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars going from as bad as they are to what Cincinnati was last year. I don't see it. Even with Doug Peterson, I don't see it. And I think he's a good head coach. I don't see Detroit. I know Detroit fans were very impressed with how tough their team was this past season and how a lot of those games could have gone the other way and they could possibly go from worse to. I don't see that. I'm sorry. And I don't have a lot of faith in your head coach. I'm sure he's probably a great guy. I'm sure he's probably a great family man. I'm sure he's probably, loves the Lord and is a good Christian and all that kind of good stuff. Although that has a new meaning for me now after some of the stuff we've seen recently. Somebody tells me they're a Christian. Now, what kind of Christian are you? Are you a political Christian? Or are you a, truly word of God kind of Christian? I'm curious. I'm just asking. Inquiring minds want to know. Keith Hennig said the Titans. Well, the Titans were in first place in the entire AFC, were they not? Are we saying that the Titans will go from first to worst? I can see the Titans possibly getting to a Super Bowl. I can see that. I mean, heck, they were a third and fourth down play away from, getting to the championship game. So I don't know. I don't know. Titans, huh? Let me look at the standings. Let me look at the standings from last season. NFL standings. All right. So the Jets. Could the Jets go from worst to first? I don't think so. I don't think so. Keith Hennig said, nope, they were the worst team 3 years ago. Okay, I got you. Yeah, they were bad a while back. The New York Jets, could they go from worst to first? I don't think so. The Baltimore Ravens were the worst team in the AFC North. They could go from worst to first. They're in last place in the AFC North. Bengals number 1, 10-7. Steelers number 2, 9-7-1. Cleveland 8-9, and Baltimore 8-9. Yes, Baltimore can go from worst to first. I mean, it's not a far jump for them to go from where they are at worst. But yeah, they could definitely do it. All right, what else we got? Who else we got? AFC South. Jaguars 3-14. I'll even throw the Texans 4-13 in there. No, neither one of them. I mean, I could be wrong. I doubt it. I could be wrong, but I extremely doubt it. I doubt it. Broncos 7-10. They could easily do that. I mean, Kansas City was 12-5, so they gotta win 5 more games and not lose 5 more. That's a big jump. The Las Vegas Raiders are 10-7. They could catch them. and the Chargers were 9-8. They could definitely catch them. So that's a possibility. All right, over on the NFC side, the Giants, 4-13. Could they go from worst to first? With Daniel Jones as their quarterback? Nah. Now, you got to realize a lot of Cincinnati's change was moving away from Andy Dalton and giving the reins to Joe Burrow. And even as a rookie, Joe Burrow played like he was far ahead of his years. Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt, and the Bengals might have a better record than, worse than in that rookie year. Joe Burrow played a full season, majority of it, and look where they ended up, Super Bowl. They're a play away from winning a Super Bowl. So, yeah, I don't think the Giants can do that with what they got. Again, I've already said the Detroit Lions, 3-13-1. No, I don't see that happening. I just don't. Dan Campbell, probably a great guy, but I just don't see him being the guy to turn them around. Carolina, same thing. Matt Rule. I don't see Matt Rule flipping the script. Doesn't even have a quarterback right now. I don't see him doing all of that in a season. All right, so then you got the Seattle Seahawks. They could definitely do it. Seattle could definitely do it. They could definitely go from worst to first. They were 7-10 in the NFC West. Rams 12-5, Cardinals 11-6, San Fran 10-7, and then Seattle 7-10. Seattle lost their starting quarterback for a lot of the year. I mean, he came back, but big difference. Big difference. So worst to first, I don't know. Keith Hennig said the Falcons may fall into that category if they get some weapons. They are definitely a team that could make a sizable leap. All right, take a break. I want to talk about Keith Hennig team when we come back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. That's 800-221-2261.
I'm Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. I wake up every day to work for our community, and Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo does too. When the pandemic hit, she put people ahead of politics and fought for our communities. When they came after our right to vote, she fought back by extending voting hours and tripling early vote locations. I'm with Lena Hidalgo because she's with us. Join me in voting for Lena Hidalgo. Early vote is February 14th to February 25th. Election day is March the 1st.
Political advertisement paid for
Hey,
by
Jen, I'm
Lena
sorry I didn't see you
Hidalgo for
there.
Harris County.
No, it's no
Are you
problem.
looking to start a business? From side hustles to major business opportunity?
Why can't I
Franchise
hear you?
123 connects
You can't
franchise
hear me?
buyers with
I got you.
sellers.
Yeah,
We
I have my
over
sound down.
4,000 franchises for you to choose from. In one simple 30-second call,
Hey.
our live agents will sign you up to the
Hey.
platform. This is not a hard sales call either. We give you free access to our
Dr. J, can you
database.
dance?
Yes, free access.
Yes.
We are the largest online.
I used to be like on the dance floor, the one sweating.
5% of all businesses. Buying a franchise doesn't have to be
I'm
complicated.
gonna
We make it easy. And right
DM
now,
Liz
some
real
have
quick
no
and find
startup
out
fees.
the
You
real
can
answer
your
to that.
special skill.
No, that's the truth. And Liz, she's taken to a different level.
I know she can. I know. And Chris dance.
Franchise 123 now and get your free
But-
guide to franchise.
But well, he says he can't dance. I think he can hold his own. But he's,
419-534.
I like pulling him out on the dance floor.
I bet you do.
566.
That's your man.
123.
That's it. That's right.
The legendary
Oh, my goodness.
1140 AM.
We're talking about worst to first teams. Worst to first teams.
92.3
Okay.
Teams that can go from worst to first.
Okay. Got you.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m.
TY, what's up, brother?
KYOK, 1140 a.m.
Cleveland, he said. Okay.
93 FM.
All right.
See you there. Hi, I'm Larry
Last
Scott,
one.
host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
What's up, everybody? This is Jonathan Nelson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ.
Thank you there, Jonathan Nelson, right here on the lunch break. And as y'all see, I've got someone who just joined me. Glad to have her back again. It is none other than Jennifer, Dr. J. Tebow, and Keith Hennig, man. You gonna hurt some people's feelings, man. Look what he says. He says, Dr. J. in North America.
Oh, thank you, Keith, and thank you, AJ. AJ, I see you have the color of royalty on, purple. You know, that is royalty color. So I'm just grateful to be in your presence, King AJ.
You're so funny. I've got to do 2 weddings today, so I got a
Okay.
that goes all over this.
I see. I see.
They wanted me to do 3. The other one, I was like, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. Like, I can't.
Oh my goodness.
So, but you know, 2, 22, 22. Folks trying to get it in today. So
That's perfect. Oh, that is perfect. Now you can't say that you forgot your anniversary. Come on, we got married on 2/22/22. There's no way.
right,
The 2 of us.
Something else is going on. Something else is
That's
going
right.
on. Yeah, but glad to have you on the show. Before you joined, we were talking about teams in the NFL that could do what Cincinnati did, where they could go from worst to first. And let's see, TY just got in, and he said that he thought that the Cleveland Browns could do that. The Cleveland Browns and Baltimore both had the same record, 8-9. So while they were worse, they weren't bad. You know, they were close to getting in the playoffs. So yeah, that's a logical one. Either Cleveland or Baltimore could easily go from worst to first.
But you're right. I don't consider them worse. Like they're not at the stage where fans are putting brown paper bags on their heads. You know, now that was the Saints. Okay, you and I know there's a true worst that went from worst to first. That's to me the definition. And shout out to Saints fans. It's loyal.
Have gone through the brown paper bag era in Cincinnati and in New Orleans. So you know, I understand that situation. So,
but for Cleveland to do it, what needs to happen? Did you guys talk about that? Like what needs to...
He just texted in. So what does need to happen? Obviously, Baker Mayfield has got to be healthy and he's got to be consistent. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be popular with a lot of Cleveland fans. Their head coach has got to figure it out. You know, Kevin Stefanski is the head coach and the offensive coordinator. He's the play caller, and some of his play calling has been suspect. So he's got to figure it out.
Now, do you think it's a scenario where the head coach maybe doesn't have the flexibility to do all that they need to do? You know, when you consistently head coach after head coach see the same or similar outcomes, you wonder if the problem is above.
Yeah.
Just you know, asking for a friend. You know, I don't know the organization one way or another, so I can't really, you know, I can't weigh in with real facts. But it's been a while, right? Like Cleveland's been a while teetering. They're just kind of barely like putting their head above. They can barely see above, and then they a couple losses, they get batted back down, and they're back down with everyone else that's gone fishing at home watching on TV.
Well, Dr. J, today is February the 22nd, 2022. And for the first time this year, I'm going to be petty. I ain't been petty all year long.
Okay.
I was barely petty. I think I got petty in December of last year for last year. So for the first time this year, I'm going to be petty.
Okay.
Cleveland fans are getting a little bit of what they deserve, because when they had that one winning season and they went to the playoff, they act like they had been there every year since the beginning of time, they got a little bit too big for themselves. And I felt like they needed to be brought back down to earth a little bit. Their broadcasters were getting a little bold and brash. Their fan base was, really above and beyond. And it was like, wait a minute, are we talking about Dallas? Are we talking about, another team? We ain't talking about Kansas City. We're talking about Cleveland. This y'all first winning record and when? This your first time in the playoffs since when? And I don't know. They need it this year. I feel like this year may have humbled Baker. I feel like it might have humbled Kevin Stefanski. I feel like it might have humbled Kenny Haslam. But the organization needed a little bit of reality, and they got a good, strong dose in your face reality this year. You're not automatic in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And you know what? The fans are so fair weather. Like if you look up fair weather fan in the dictionary, I'm sorry, but you will see a picture of Cleveland. To go from, I'm a jump sports, but to love a jersey, burn a jersey.
That's Cleveland.
Well, welcome them back.
Right.
Like this is what they do. They go through extremes. So I'm not surprised on the football end that the Browns fans could go from, disgruntled to, oh, we made it. Is what they do. This is their soap opera to live.
I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I have a license to talk bad about Cleveland, and that's what they do. And that's what real good blue collar town. Love some of the people there. Hated it when Art Modell took the Browns away, and I'm glad they kept their history and name and the dog pound and all that. Houston really should have taken a page out of their book, didn't. But that fan base needed a little reality, and it's the same thing with the basketball team. Same thing with the owner of the basketball team when LeBron left. What he said about LeBron, what he posted about LeBron was inexcusable. Inexcusable. And LeBron, I hate this phrase, but I'm gonna use it, was the bigger person and said, "Hey, I want to come back. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than basketball." And look how it turned out.
Absolutely. And that's one of those things where, again, we watch a sports product. That's what we're watching. It's a product. It's an sports entertainment product. But people understand it's a business, right? So I would expect if LeBron is able to be bigger than his personal feelings, he should be able to see the business side of why it made sense at that time to go back to Cleveland and, lo and behold, win championship.
Yeah.
But fans, God bless us fans. And I'm sure you get caught up too sometimes. I know I do. Like, I'm not trying to,
Me?
No, not you. Okay, well, it's just me. Like, like there's some people that I have a propensity not to like, and I'm like, how do I not like this person? I've never met them. Like, I've never done anything to me other than play differently than I thought that they should play out on the court or the field or whatever. But you start watching how they play, and you start developing this relationship in your head, whether you like them or not, and it just grows from there. That's how we are.
I got to tell you, I have been guilty of going with my gut about people and speaking from there. And I'll give you a couple names because folks swear that Brad Stevens, Boston, that he has done something to me. I knew Brad was going to be a marginal head coach when he came into the league, and I never said anything different. I told my truth until they did the unthinkable. Not only did they remove him as a head coach, but they put him over the entire basketball operation. So you're not good at your job, so we're going to promote you so that you can have impact on the entire thing that you were not good at. That don't happen to everybody in the business. So, but that's my brand. Scott Frost, same thing. Folks swear there's something personal with me and Scott Frost. Scott Frost is mediocre at best. And he is in a place where, thank goodness for him, he's got grace. They celebrate his mediocrity. They swear that they're close. And I just, he did what he did down at Central Florida, but that didn't mean he had the ability to do it anywhere. Good coaches can go wherever they go and get it done. Scott Frost is not in that category. So I said the same thing about Bill O'Brien. When he got the job here, it's like, I'm telling you, this ain't going to work out the way y'all think it is. And sure enough, yes, he did. Think in high school now. district championship. That's it. Not regionals, not semifinals, not state, but district. And folks were jumping up and down. Oh God, we won the AFC South. You ain't won nothing else. Only team in the AFC to never even make it to the AFC championship game, please. So,
but isn't that the sport of football? Like, don't we crown people before they should get the crown? Like we do that it's not just football. We do that in sports. We crown people before they have produced their royalty, their royalness. That's what we do, unfortunately. So the situation in Boston, just putting it out there, that if you think about it, if you were contracted for a coach for X number of large dollars, and if you fire them, you're still on the hook for X number of large dollars. But if you have a clause in your contract that if they reassign you, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's very possible that that's why he was moved to operations, that it was for financial reasons.
Yeah.
Based on the coaching
anyway. So
based on the coaching, let's get something out of it for the coaching contract, because then they'd be paying double for the same role. So I have a strong feeling that that's what led to that decision. But I mean, we crown people all the time. I mean, look, I lived in Dallas for 20 plus years, and I watched the Tony Romo era. And now he's an amazing genius in the broadcast booth, which I don't believe that either. But that's what we did. I watched the Cowboys just touch the hem of the garment of the playoffs, and then they were out every single time if they made it. But they still stuck with this amazing Tony Romo, and I'm like, is he amazing? If I could be Patty for a second, is he?
Somebody asked me if I thought Tony Romo was a Hall of Famer. I laughed in their face.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely no.
Pre-COVID, but I laughed dead in their face.
I would laugh in their face right now.
If I had a vote, I would still do it the same way. If I've got to think about whether or not you're a Hall of Famer, you're not. You're not.
Absolutely not.
I got to stop and just think about, are they a Hall of Famer? No.
Let me tell you, I have to pull one of my most favorite giggles. Okay, I have to share it with you. Is Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, when apparently Tony Romo made a comment about a DB saying he didn't like to tackle like Deion. He made some comment like that.
I remember it.
Oh, Deion said the best thing. I get a giggle. I think about this periodically, and it is my daily giggle when he said, "I got a gold jacket I didn't buy." I said, "You go ahead on, Deion. Wear your crown because you put the production in and you deserve that." But in sports, we don't do that. We crown people early and then we get shot. We're disappointed. Baker Mayfield, oh my gosh, I can't believe. Maybe you crowned him too early.
Right.
Maybe this is the best we're going to see out of him.
Yep.
Oh, dare I say Tim Tebow. Okay. Right. Like there are everybody has a peak. It's what it is in sports. As an athlete, you're going to have a peak. Some peak in college, some peak in the pros, some people's peak is just not as high as we expect. Right. But we crown people too quickly without asking them to produce. Zion Williamson, come on. Like I could go on and on about the people that actually have been handed the crown without taking the throne.
Yeah, it's true. It's just the truth. Dr. J joining us here on the lunch break, Talk Your Team Tuesday, and we're talking about a lot of people's team. Keith Hennig, I did say before the break I was going to talk about his team. I saw a published report. He's a Buccaneer fan.
Okay, all right, Keith. Hey, all right.
The Buccaneers did what nobody but him and the rest of the fan base thought that they could do, and that's win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, first year in their own stadium, their first team to ever do that. So I got to give them love. I used to live in Tampa. It's my second favorite city that I've ever lived in, Tampa, Florida. So here's the thing. I read a published report that Tampa is going to make a serious push for Jimmy Garoppolo to come down to Tampa. And I thought about that for a second, and I was like, oh, man, don't do that. I mean, make a push for Russell Wilson, make a push for the quarterback in Green Bay, who I don't like. I will never say his name again. Make a push for somebody else, but Jimmy Garoppolo. And then I thought about if anybody can get anything out of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm not saying be on the same level as Tom Brady, but remember, we're not talking about the same level as Tom Brady, Super Bowl champ and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about this Tom Brady. And he was still league MVP, worthy. He was still stats that were league MVP worthy. But the
Absolutely.
one team and coaching staff that might be able to get the best out of Jimmy Garoppolo if he stays healthy is the Tampa Bay. Coaching staff.
I agree.
That Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians and that entire offensive staff could get some quality play out of Jimmy Garoppolo. It might not be a bad deal, transitioning from Tom Brady.
So you have Russell Wilson or Garoppolo. Who do you pick?
Well, if you got Russell Wilson, you take Russell Wilson, and you don't.
Absolutely. I think that's a great fit, to be honest with you. I think that is an amazing fit, to have Russell Wilson there. I think it's amazing. I do. I'm just thinking about Bruce Arians and the way the staff is. I just see it as such a nice mix. I just,
Yeah, I want
it's
that.
time for a change for Russ. I think it's time for a change.
I want that for Russ. I'd love to see him with that receiving core. I'd love to see him with that running game. I'd love to see him with that defense. I mean, that dude has done it with Russell Wilson and Peyton Manning. Both have done something that a lot of folks don't even pay attention to. Their play at the quarterback spot covers up for bad play on the defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Manning, when he was healthy in Indianapolis, covered up for a very bad defense, and you saw how bad it was as soon as Peyton went down. They
Absolutely.
went from Super Bowl to barely even winning 3-4 games.
In the hole, yep.
So
absolutely.
Russell has done that in Seattle, and I wish that he could end up somewhere like a New Orleans, like a Tampa, like a Pittsburgh. I don't think either one of those is going to happen.
I don't think Pittsburgh is going to happen. Now, Keith, I see in the comments says Deshaun Watson for Tampa.
Let's take a break and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
There's news from yesterday. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or you can text 832-403-5005. You can always email aj@kyoksports.com. Ben Sutter III, BS3 Network, got us on Roku. Has checked in. Hey, brother, we'll be right back right after this.
Attention timeshare owners. Are you dissatisfied with your timeshare? Tired of the financial burden? Were you misled by the salesperson? Don't want or can't use your timeshare anymore? Then you may qualify for timeshare cancellation. Timeshare Defense Attorneys is the #1 affordable fixed fee legal solution in the country with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Our experienced lawyers will evaluate your case, and if we take you on as a client, we will work on your case until it's solved in your favor. That's our 100% satisfaction guarantee. One of our lawyers will keep you informed in the process, all while protecting your rights, interest, and even your credit. Get the relief you need now from the burden of your timeshare. Call now for a free consultation, and don't forget to ask about our stimulus discount program. Call 800-303-4764. 800-303-4764. That's 800-303-4764.
Hi, this is Candace Houston. Tune into my new radio show called Candid Plug every Saturday from noon to 1. We will have engaging conversations on current events, topics that affect the community, and religion. Join me each Saturday from noon to 1 for my new show called Candid Plug, where you plus me equals us, right here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on KYOKradio.org.
You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
This is Lakeisha, and you're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. We're streaming live, KYOKradio.org. And I got Dr. J with me on Talk Your Team Tuesday. And Keith Hennig said that Deshaun Watson is the one. He said he's the one. He'd love to have Deshaun Watson. That's what he said. I would be okay with Jimmy G, but very happy with Deshaun Watson. So just to give you the latest update on the Deshaun Watson saga, a judge ruled late yesterday that the Texans quarterback can be questioned under oath by as many as 9 of the 22 women who have alleged sexual assault. These 9, though, have not filed criminal charges, just the civil suit. And the judge said that that civil suit deposition can go forward. Deshaun and his attorney, Rusty Hardin, sought to have the process delayed until April, when the grand jury process into the criminal part of it would be complete. And the judge said, no, we'll just go with the 9 who have not filed criminal charges. Your client can testify under oath. After the ruling, Rusty Hardin said that more than likely his client will exercise his Fifth Amendment rights until after the grand jury process into the criminal side has been resolved, and that's more than likely going to be in the April timeframe. So all that means this: the Deshaun Watson issue, situation, circumstance will not be resolved football-wise until April, May, June. Now we're getting towards training camp. You know, who's going to be willing to make a deal before all that gets resolved?
The question really is, though, why is this a wait and see approach for the NFL? The NFL has eyes and legs and the ability to do their investigation, come to a conclusion, and make an employment decision. Like, the NFL and the teams associated have the ability to do that. It is really a shame that you would actually wait for a process that has nothing to do with you. You didn't wait on the United States government or a state jurisdiction to tell you to hire Deshaun from the beginning. So why wait to see what they may say to inform you of what you should do next? I think that's unfortunate. That's a sign of you're not treating him as the law should see him now, as innocent before proven guilty. Yes, he's going to plead the Fifth, and he should, because whatever he says in that deposition, even though it's in a civil matter, can be used in a grand jury. Things used in a grand jury are not necessarily admissible in a case once it gets to trial, but a lot of things can come into play for a grand jury. So it is interesting that the judge has chosen to go this route. It doesn't make sense. I almost wouldn't doubt if they would even appeal the decision to create further delay. But it's, I'm very frustrated because he is not being treated as innocent until proven guilty in a lot of different, regards. And so that's very frustrating to me. I just see that it will take a gutsy team to decide that they are going to hire him and, move forward as having confidence of him being their number one QB. And I'm sorry that he's in that position. I'm not weighing in one way or another if I feel he is guilty or innocent, because that's not my call. I don't have the evidence. All we know is what he has said, what he has admitted to. But I do not like the process. I do not like the path, the hands-off approach, the wait and see, because civil matters they're not criminal matters, even if it goes through. And more than likely, there'll be a point where there will be a settlement. And a settlement has nothing to do with guilt. It has to do with stopping the financial bleeding. Oftentimes, when you have a case like this, it's like, look, I can move forward, and there will be a small little blip that if I win, there's a small little blip, and there's a big old hole in my bank account. But so we could do that, or I could stop now, and it's over, and they can stop talking about it. And so those will be the decisions he will have to make. How this will factor into if he throws a football is kind of a bit perplexing to me, because again, he is not being treated innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, the Texans definitely didn't treat him that way here in Houston. They just decided we're not going to put him on the field, even though the NFL said multiple times Deshaun is not suspended, he's not restricted, he's not on the commissioner list. He is free to play whenever they choose to play him. And Jack used to be Nick Caserio, and And Cal McNair decided not to do that. Let me go to the phone line real quick. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
AJ, lunch break is Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, caller of the year 2017. What it do, baby?
Nothing much. Glad that Pittsburgh Steelers is still living out our Rooney dream.
Oh, you're talking about them hiring Brian Flores as their senior defensive assistant.
Absolutely. It's not a head coaching job, but at least AJ, somebody will stand in the gap of people that they believe it's just been right and truthful. And it's not wrong with fighting what you believe in, because if nobody changes the narrative of what's going on in the NFL, nothing would happen. So it just goes to show you that undoubtedly Pittsburgh doesn't have a problem with what Brian Flores is doing.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I don't want to gloss over that. On another note, though, the outgoing general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers has said that if they were to play today, Mason "I'm a Racist" Rudolph would be the starting quarterback. Dwayne Haskins would be his backup. I want that man to go ahead and retire, because he's holding that franchise hostage to a guy that I'm curious why he's still in the NFL, let alone being talked about as QB1. This is going to go as bad as it did for the Chicago Bears when they jumped out there early and said that Andy Dalton was going to be QB1 before they ever even looked at Justin Fields. This guy needs to go ahead and retire. He's going to retire. They're going to keep him through the draft, but he's already setting this franchise up for continued failure, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it neither, AJ. I wish, like you said, he would retire, and then, Pittsburgh could definitely go forward. Talking about a championship team, talking about a team that has quality talent, and sometimes, like you said, you can hold a team up from getting over that hump, going into that next field by just being stubborn. I guess that's the nicest way I could put it.
Yeah, well, you said it nicer than me, because you see me, I don't care. I'm calling you by your name.
I'm not gonna be ugly. We got to guess, AJ. I can't be ugly today.
That's okay. I think other S words too, but this is Christian. I'm Christian.
Yeah, AJ. No, I'll flip the script sometimes, but in a good way. But it's just sometimes when you speak the truth hurts.
Yeah.
And that's really what holding my team back. Big Ben was holding my team back, and so was the general manager. And that's why a coach that never has had a losing season is able to still stay in place. Because why? Even with the distraction that he had from upper management.
Yeah, he gets even more credit from me now, knowing how many times they were trying to tie his hands behind his back, and he still never had a losing record than even before. So I'm with you on that one, Ferdinand.
And like I say, the Deshaun situation, guys, look, the case is destroyed because of the way that it's been handled. So if there's any truth in the criminal activity, because it's been exploited the way that it's been exploited, you don't get the truth. You get half of the truth, but not the whole truth. So it's what really hurts, guys. A woman that's been battered and bruised throughout life. When the wrong people have their hands in it, guys, and it's all about money, sometimes the truth doesn't come out. So you can only keep Deshaun hands tied for so long. And he's going to have to come out. I've been on civil cases, guys, and he's going to have to come out the money regardless. Now, the criminal part. Does the money part hurt the criminal part? Dr. J, I'm not, it's just not right, because they ridiculed that young man. Obligate because why he took a stand and said, I don't want to pay for the Texans anymore. Now, this was on the table until that came about. And when it came about, it got real ugly, and now this is where we're at today.
Ferdinand, appreciate you as always, brother.
God bless. Thank y'all, and y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right. There's a lot in this one. And
there is.
One of the key issues to it getting resolved is Tony Busby. And Tony Busby is that dude. He's that dude that's going to do like the general manager of Pittsburgh. He's just going to do what he wants to do, even if it affects other people's lives. And I'm not trying to, again, pick sides with Deshaun or the ladies. I'm 100% behind women who've been sexually assaulted getting every single drop of justice that they deserve. If Deshaun is guilty of any wrongdoing, then, hey, let's go forward with the with whatever the punitive and criminal punishment would be. If he's not, and he chooses to settle, settling does not mean you're guilty. It does not mean you've been
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I used to be in a role where I would go to our legal team and say, here we need to settle, because we could not suffer a loss against our tariff. That would open up everything that my company was founded on. So we settled plenty stuff that people thought, oh, well, they're guilty. No, wasn't we guilty? We just wasn't going to suffer a loss, against our government tariffs. So
the paperwork says I'm not admitting to fault. Like, everyone agrees there's no fault. But again, those are the small little blips that no one sees in the story. Once it's resolved, it just rests at guilty, guilty, guilty. Yep. And it's really unfortunate. The reason they filed it, most people wait to file the civil suit, by the way. If this is just general rule of thumb, if the criminal case can help your civil suit, you allow the criminal case to go first.
Right. But Tony Busby is just the opposite.
Well, when you think that a criminal case, if you stagger it, will speed along the ability to settle, then you do the civil first.
I got you.
Because the time frame, the civil time frame is ahead of the criminal. So what's going to happen is that grand juries in April, there'll be some timing things that will be interesting points of consideration to settle in the civil matter, to get that out the way, to prevent the deposition from happening to begin with. That's going to be a milestone in that civil case. Should we settle before I do a deposition, so there is nothing on record?
Right.
It's all motivation.
I'm glad to have you on here with your legal knowledge, because this stuff is just amazing. Listen, we got to get Sybil Wilkes on real quick with what you need to know, and then we'll come back with more right after this. Here's Sybil Wilkes on the lunch break.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. That makes it 2-2-2-2-2. Number 1, the federal hate crime trial of 3 men, Gregory McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Bryan, previously convicted in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, is now with the current jury. Closing arguments for the prosecution and defense began and concluded Monday before the panel, composed of 3 black jurors, 8 whites, and 1 Hispanic, began deliberations. The defense rested Friday after calling just 1 witness, stating that the prosecution failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the hatred for Ahmaud Arbery because he was a black man. Number 2, according to real estate brokerage Redfin, Americans are voting with their feet and moving to places that align with their politics. Residents who have lost small businesses due to COVID-19 restrictions are packing up and leaving and moving to conservative strongholds like Idaho, Tennessee, and Texas. More than 1 in every 10 people moving to Texas during the pandemic was from California. That's according to the Texas Real Estate Research Center at Texas A&M University. Number 3, infectious disease experts are monitoring an even more contagious version of the variant that could once again delay the country's hopes of getting back to normal. The virus, known as BA2, is a strain of the highly contagious Omicron variant that appears to spread about 30% more easily than its predecessor. Although vaccination and prior infection does appear to protect people against BA2, this version of the virus seems better at evading the immune system that the original Omicron was. Number 4, a judge has ruled that a Monona, Wisconsin police officer violated a black man's constitutional rights when he entered a home and arrested the man based on a neighbor's racial suspicion. The lawsuit, brought by Keontae Furtage over the 2020 incident, now moves on to the determination of damages. Furge and a friend had just moved into their high school coach's mother's house, who recently died, and the neighbor who called police was not aware of the arrangement. Number 5, Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin, recently spoke virtually for a Q&A at Colorado State University's Black African American Cultural Center. Sabrina Fulton and Trayvon's father, Tracy Martin, created the Trayvon Martin Foundation which Fulton has used to help other families who have lost a child to gun violence. She recommended having conversations about race with children of color and now thinks the appropriate age for these conversations is at 8 or 9 years old, so children can understand that they're seen differently by others. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. You can control your feelings and emotions. Breathe. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Damon Williams as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed. Be empowered.
The legendary 1140 AM AYOK Conroe at 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all. That is first hour on the books, second hour underway right here on the legendary KYOK. And Dr. J, before we do anything else, we got to do some birthdays. You ready to sing? You ready to sing, Dr. J?
I'm ready to intro Usher so he can sing.
I don't even have Usher ready. I'm not. You're going to have to do it for Usher today.
You don't want this Southern Belle to sing. No, you don't.
No, you don't. What key you want me to put you in? E flat, A flat, G flat, Z flat. What you want?
No flat. How about that?
Happy birthday to Harrison Kumai over there in Kenya. What's up, brother? Celebrating a birthday today. Z Jackson celebrating her birthday along with Tanya Lynn Edwards. She's 42. M. Ray Allen celebrating a birthday with Jonathan Washington. Rashad Caldwell with his ministering self is 39 today. Tara Marie and Bria Davis all celebrating birthdays with the following celebrities. Happy birthday going out to Octavius Cato. Octavius Cato was an American educator and a civil rights activist and a baseball player back in 1865 with the Philadelphia Pythians and played one of the first games against an all-white team, and unfortunately they lost. He celebrated, his birthday is today, born on 1839. The manager of the Big Red Machine, you don't know about that? Then let me tell you about it. Sparky Anderson led the Cincinnati Reds to the World Series, and also in Detroit. He was born in South Dakota. All right, Dr. J. Not this one, the other one, Julius Erving, celebrating his birthday today. He was born on this day in 1950. Tennis player Michael Chang, one of my favorites, was born on this day in 1972. A guy we just talked about. Now we know exactly how old he is. Rajon Rondo was born on this day in 1986. And one of my favorite basketball players in the WNBA, Natasha Cloud, was born on this day in 1992. Usher, will you please sing happy birthday for me and Dr. J?
Oh, go shawty, it's your birthday. Ooh, it's your birthday. Go shawty, it's your birthday. Today's your day. Happy birthday to you. Dr.
J, you could do that. You could really
no, but see, it's something about Usher when he digs down deep and says happy birthday. You know, like that's what makes you go, oh Usher, oh Usher.
Dr. J, just say go shouty, it's your birthday.
No, I can't do it like Usher. Let me tell you, Usher used to be on full rotation in the car, like for every moment of my life. And so that's truly a true story. I took the GMAT. I did not study for the GMAT. I got a score like I did not study for the GMAT. And on my drive home, I put Usher Let It Burn on repeat. Oh God, it was the most pitiful thing you've ever seen. It was so pitiful. I drove myself to a florist and bought myself flowers to try to cheer myself up because Usher was singing to me. So I figured, okay, Usher's trying to make me feel better. Let me help myself feel better. So Usher has been with me for important moments. Let me just say that.
I can relate. Usher has been there with me for some important moments as well. Dr. J, if there was one thing that you cannot do right now, you would be able to do? What is it?
Oh, Well, I think I walk and have posture as if I'm 6 feet tall. But like everybody else can probably tell, I'm not 6 feet tall. So I think I would take the 6 foot height.
Okay.
Just for a day.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because my wonderful husband says he prefers me the size that I am. He said he don't want to look eye to eye with his boo. He said because then his boo would have big old feet and all that. He said,
oh
no,
my God.
He said, I don't want a big old boo. He said he want a little compact boo.
So I would, come on, Dr. J.
So I would do it for one day just so I could, I could be the way I walk around, like I'm 6 feet when I walk in the room.
I hear you. I think singing would be mine. If I could sing, I would be no good.
I wouldn't talk. I don't think I would talk. I really don't think I would talk. I love singing. Like I really do love singing, but I do not sing well at all. Like you would think I'm beyond tone deaf when I sing. You're like, oh, how did you let that come out like that? I'm like,
can you blend in with other people? If you were in a choir, can you blend in?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not tone deaf. You just can't lead.
Hopefully, for sure. I cannot lead. 100%. I cannot lead. No, no.
I wonder if Ivan can sing. Ivan, can you sing? I know you funny as heck, brother. You are hilarious, but can you sing? Ivan, call me. We need to get some Amazing Grace out of you. 281-453-1000.
Take some Amazing Grace.
Go here for Ivan, just for that. 281-45. I need some Amazing Grace.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, we need Amazing Grace out of Ivan. 281-453. I don't even know the number. 1000. That's for Ivan. Now, don't nobody else call unless you can sing.
Who's your favorite version that sings Amazing Grace?
I don't know.
I'm torn. But for me, it's between Aretha and Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
For me, but it's just it's a song that's built for a strong singer, a powerful singer.
Right.
So that's what makes it like if you're not a powerful singer, that's what to me makes a song like that. You go, I didn't catch it, but apparently Macy Gray, another song that's queued up for powerful singers if you do it well. Macy Gray in NBA All-Star doing the Star Spangled Banner. Apparently it was a mess.
Okay.
It was absolutely mess. I don't know if you caught that. So apparently it was bad. It was like Fergalicious bad. It was on that level. It was Fergie level, okay? To the point the cameras panned to LeBron and he couldn't hold back his laughter.
But it wasn't Carl Lewis bad.
Now, Carl Lewis was a whole nother level. But let me tell you, but people have to understand, it wasn't just the singing. It wasn't just hold on, I'm gonna come back. It was the red suit with the cheetah. I mean, come on, like it was this whole combination of wrong happening at one time, and it's like you couldn't take your eyes off of it. It's like you just, even as bad as it was, you could not. When I tell you, when I discovered that, because I don't think I saw it live. When I discovered it and I showed it to Chris, who also had not seen it, we were in tears. We kept replaying it. It was the absolute best because he was so committed. Like, hold on. I'm gonna come back. Watch this part. I'm gonna make up for it. And it just went from bad to worse. And I was like, oh, Carl, I'm so glad you can run fast. That's all I kept thinking. I'm so glad that you can run fast because singing is not your thing, brother. It's just not your thing. And Barack did an amazing job. President Barack Obama.
He had me in tears.
Yeah, he got so much soul. Come on. Like he just, it's just in him. Like he's got a certain rhythm and cadence that I would not be surprised. Like you probably have a really great singing voice. You may not want to admit it. No, you have a sound. You have a sound.
I can fake it. I can get a couple of good notes out, and my choir knows to get it from him as soon as possible. Like if I do a little bit of an intro choir, follow me on this one, and then I'll do a couple of words. They know to get it immediately.
All right. So you say enough for the crowd to be like, all right. And they're drowning you out at that point. And then, smart strategy. I like that. Smart strategy.
My sound technician knows to bring my mic down so it looks like I'm singing. but they
Yes.
can't get nothing, and the choir's going. So yeah. Keith Hennick, I heard AJ sing. Nerd. In other words, no, I can't sing. If it was anybody else but you, it would be fight time. It would be go time. But it's you because I love Keith. So, all right, we got a lot we need to talk about this hour. The Juwan Howard stuff has been resolved. I want to talk about that, and I'm going to say some warning people now. I'm going to say some very controversial things, so just get ready. And if there's anything else you want to get in, you better get it in now because this probably going to take us right up to the top of the hour. Be right back. Quick break on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
But are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-395-9215. 800-395-9215. 800-395-9215. That's 800-395-9215.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. That's 800-811-4169. Not allowed to qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms including APR are determined at the time of your application based on credit worthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Hi, this is Sade from Fondren and Belford, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
Thank you there, Sade from Fondren and Belford. That's on the southwest side. We'll be right back. Well, we are back, I should say. Dr. J, myself, Talk Your Team Tuesday. And obviously, we want to talk about the Deshaun, not Deshaun, the Juwan. Man, I'm getting the Juwans wrong. Juwan Howard situation. The Big Ten made its decision, and they decided to suspend Juwan for the rest of the season. That's 5 games. He's going to pay a $40,000 fine. And apparently right now, that'll be it. We don't know if Michigan's going to decide to do anything else or if the NCAA itself is going to decide to do anything else. But I believe that the Big Ten has resolved it. They also fined Greg Gard $10,000, but no suspension. Mm-hmm. And the assistant coach that brought nothing but escalation to the scenario was not assessed anything. A couple of players were suspended as well on both teams. So real quick, let's just the obvious question. What were your thoughts about Juwan's piece of it and Coach Gard's piece of it?
Okay, so I expected there to be a swift penalty because schools do like to issue their own punishment to prevent the NCAA for feeling as if they need to step in and issue a greater punishment. So, okay, you've policed yourself, you've got it, we're not going to do anything. So I expected that. I expected him to be suspended. I certainly did not expect him, I didn't think it would be worse than that. The $40,000 fine, okay, it is what it is. Now, here's the deal. Again, Coach Cole talked about it yesterday. They always see the second punch, right? The reality is that he was violated first. That is the truth of the matter. He has options if he so chose to file charges, to file civil suit. He has options in this case. What I don't like is the far lesser consequences by Coach Gard, who, again, I go back to that idea of proximate cause. But for the first offensive touching, the things don't escalate further. I just don't believe that. Coach Howard did not appear as if his intent was to create a physical altercation when he pulled his mask down to make a comment to the coach. Nothing about his initial comment was to then escalate to a physical altercation, but for other things happening. And by the way, they were on Wisconsin's side. This would not have escalated. I'm particularly frustrated with the lack of acceptance of Coach Gard's part in this. You've got to be able to own up to your part. This is where this is where the court of public opinion, if you see it in this light, are very frustrated, because at least own up. Look, you want me to believe your press conference or my lying eyes? Which one do you want me to believe?
Right.
And so I'm very frustrated that there was not an equal punishment, because both of them were wrong. They were both wrong. They both had played a wrong part in what became this ugliness. But Krabenhoff is Krabenhoff, the assistant for Wisconsin. That is the biggest travesty in the world. Like, that to me is one of the biggest slaps in the face. And then when I read the public apology that no doubt was run through a PR machine before it was placed publicly, to read that Coach Howard is apologizing, rightfully so, but to not see the ownership of the part they played, it feels familiar. And
Yeah.
it feels too familiar and hurtful to see it play out like this.
Funny you should say that, because I want to read Wisconsin's comments. Okay. And I quote, "We have received and read the ruling the Big Ten has handed down in regard to the incident that occurred at the Kohl Center on Sunday. Needless to say, there is no place in college athletics for what happened at the end of Sunday's game. Neither Coach Gard nor his staff had any intent to provoke or incite any of what took place. I want to commend those on our staff and student athletes who were trying to de-escalate the situation. Our staff has my complete support, as do our student athletes. I consider the $10,000 fine from the Big Ten to be a Wisconsin fine and not a Greg Gard fine. Wisconsin athletics will assume the responsibility for paying the fine. Our program is in the midst of the race for the Big Ten championship, and my hope is that the focus can now be turned to our game at Minnesota on Wednesday." Signed, Chris McIntosh, Director of Athletics.
And he better never walk into the same room with me with that kind of idea and sentiment at all. It's the lack of accountability. It is the lack of ownership in their part. Because if you didn't see the tape, if all you heard was the headline, and you see today these headlines, you would believe the staff had little birds and hearts floating over their head as they skipped over to say, "Come on, guys, let's go back." That's literally not at all what happened. And then to allow the free pass from Coach Gard to say, "Oh, we support him." Matter of fact, we're not going to even make him pay it. We're paying it because that's how we roll. This is what we do. It's okay. When he had offensive unwanted touching, which is against the law, criminal code in the state. I'm sorry, I don't know how you even fix your mouth to do it. Like, I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't.
Well, funny how most folks felt that way about Juwan Howard's initial press conference. Here's his most recent statement, and I quote, "After taking time to reflect on all that happened, I realized how unacceptable both my actions and words were and how they affected so many. I am truly sorry. I am offering my sincerest apology to my players and their families, my staff, my family, and the Michigan fans around the world. I would like to personally apologize to Wisconsin's assistant coach, Joel Krabenholt, and his family too. Lastly, I speak a lot about being a Michigan man and representing the University of Michigan with class and pride. I did not do that, nor did I set the right example in the right way for my student athletes. I will learn from my mistake, and this mistake will never happen again. No excuses," end quote. Now, I know there are those out there that feel like, oh yeah, PR wrote that. You know, he didn't say that. First of all, Juwan is not smart enough to write that press clip. You shut up. I'm not talking to you. Go back under the rock that you came from. I'm not dealing with your bigoted, idiotic way of thinking. So that shuts that down right now. But listen to the contrition from one and the lack of accountability from the other. And that's where I said, I'm at a place now where I just want to call it what it is. I don't care who it offends. I don't care who it hurts. I don't care who doesn't agree with me, because the truth is the truth, whether people agree with it or not. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Dr. J, I'm going to play the disclaimer. And
yes. All right. I'm ready.
Dr. J on Talk Your Team 2. It's no longer Talk Your Team 2. It's Talk Your Stuff Tuesday. I'll be right back with that after this on the lunch break.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. That's 800-221-2261.
I'm Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. I wake up every day to work for our community, and Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo does too. When the pandemic hit, she put people ahead of politics and fought for our communities. When they came after our right to vote, she fought back by extending voting hours and tripling early vote locations. I'm with Lena Hidalgo because she's with us. Join me in voting for Lena Hidalgo. Early vote is February 14th to February 25th. Election day is March the 1st.
Political advertisement paid for by Lena Hidalgo for Harris County.
Are you looking to start a business? From side hustles to major business opportunities, Franchise 123 connects franchise buyers with sellers. And we have over 4,000 franchises for you to choose from. In one simple 30-second call, our live agents will sign you up to the platform. This is not a hard sales call either. We give you free access to our database. Yes, free access, no cost. We are the largest online franchise database in the world. You can find 95% of all businesses. Buying a franchise doesn't have to be complicated. We make it easy. And right now, some have no startup fees. You can turn your special skill into a franchise business or go full scale with all the top franchise businesses in the world. Sign up with Franchise 123 now and get your free guide to franchise success now. Call 800-419-5344, 800-419-5344, or text Franchise 123 to 63566. Text Franchise 123 to 63566.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary.
All right, one more after this and you roll.
All right. There was actually a situation at Michigan. Same thing, sports doctor. But he died. He died before the news came out. So they had a 490 million.
Thinking about it, Michigan State. Michigan needs to clean up this whole doggone act.
It was a $490 million settlement that Michigan made.
All right, so
because of that doctor. Because of that doctor.
KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKRadio.org.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Todd Delaney, and right now you're listening to the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show with AJ.
Thank you, Todd Delaney, with your worshiping self, man. I am glad that you dropped by with a drop for me. All right, real quick, breaking news. Looks like the North Carolina A&T Aggies are going to be leaving the Big South Conference and not going back to the MEAC, but they're on their way to the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Conference. Schools like Delaware, William and Mary, Townsend, James Madison, Charleston, Hofstra, Drexel, Townsend, I said them, University of Delaware, Villanova, Stony Brook, Richmond, Rhode Island. Interesting. They stepped up a little bit. I know everybody wanted them back in the MEAC, but hey. Donna Coleman-Holman said, and I want to make sure I get this right because I was wrong. Did those girls get assaulted at Michigan? How long did it take for them to get rid of that doctor? Go ahead and correct me, Don, because I thought she was talking about Larry Nassar at Michigan State. But
of course, because it only makes sense, right? Michigan State had to make a $500 million settlement because of Larry Nassar, but Michigan had to make a $490 million settlement because of Robert Anderson, a sports doctor there from 1966 to 2003. Wow. He died. And the truth of what has been happening to these girls came out much later on. Yeah. And so he was never removed. And clearly a ton of enablers. There's no way someone is allowed to do that for that long a period of time and people don't know. But just an interesting fact, it's not a happy fact to share, but in the settlement category of sexual assaults in college, actually USC tops the list. They made an $825 million settlement to cover about 700 people who had been sexually assaulted from the accused George Tyndall. And so, these are things. It's odd that that's not newsworthy. We know Larry Nassar because that's what's been newsworthy. But there have been, bigger settlements. And more victims that, we never get a chance to even understand just the magnitude of sexual assault in college campuses.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll just, and it does kind of play. Let me go ahead and give this disclaimer real quick. Views
and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Okay, so let me get that out of the way. I'm going to keep it right there because I'm probably going to have to hit it a couple of times. And real quick, Donna, a lot of times that money doesn't come out of the school's dowry per se. There's usually insurance that covers, in fact, at the church, we have what I call bad behavior insurance. If one of our ministers goes out, does something they're not supposed to do, our insurance would cover, liabilities and things like that. So, and not
errors and omissions. Yep.
Yeah, not moving on to that from that, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised by Wisconsin's approach to this. I said yesterday with you and Coach Cole that seeing Coach Gard feel perfectly comfortable grabbing Coach, and I'm very specific in why I'm saying Coach Howard, because he was not a subordinate, he was not a player, he was a peer. He was an equal, head coach to head coach. But something in Coach Gard made him feel perfectly comfortable regardless of what Juwan Howard said, Coach Juwan Howard said, he felt perfectly comfortable grabbing him by the arm, impeding his progress, and stopping him to say to him what he wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also glad, though, that the Big Ten saw through that and fined him $10,000. In fact, someone that I know personally that was close to that, debate, those deliberations and final decisions, said that Coach Gard lost all of his position of innocence.
Good.
Hands on, and look at that. You're no longer innocent when you are the one that put your hands on that man and stopped him from going on his way.
He's the aggressor. If he's the aggressor.
Any other part, but in that part of it, he was the aggressor, and he was wrong for that. And I don't care what anybody else says. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't give me anything else. The Big Ten decided for that he was wrong, and they fined him $10,000. And I'm okay with it.
Donna is saying something in the comments. She said because he doesn't see Juwan as a peer, just a 6'9" player. Donna, you saying that? You're absolutely right. I agree.
To where I want to go, whether people want to understand this or not, sports is a microcosm of society. And we're talking about our society right now. As bad as things were, there were some things that flipped from 2015 to now. And people want to say 2016. It started really happening before then. Mm-hmm. And what happened in that time frame emboldened people to no longer feel any responsibility to curtail the way that they spoke, the way that they carried themselves, the way that they dealt with other people, the business decisions that they made. It changed in a way that I can honestly say in the majority of my lifetime, I had not seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. So that being said, this is a society where one group, and I'm not going to call them out, I wanted to call them out, but one group has had the power since the beginning of this nation. Mm-hmm. And I want to go ahead and point out a very key fact. Britain didn't send over their best and their brightest to the new country. They sent over their criminals. They sent over their derelicts. They sent over the people that they did not want to deal with, regulate, control, constrict, lock. They didn't want to be responsible for these people any longer, so they sent them over. Mm-hmm. So this belief that all these people that founded this great nation had all these great qualities and great this and great that, it's just not true. But watch this. The people who have the power and the pen get to shape the narrative of how history is written. So fast forward to today. This one group has never had to have legislation enacted on their behalf. They never had to have a 15th Amendment that gave Black people the right to vote. They never had to have a 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote. They have always been the group, I'm not going to call them by name, they know who they are, of power. And because this word bothers them, they have always been in a place of privilege. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but that spirit has carried forth from generation to generation to generation to generation. I graduated from college with a guy who the only people he saw that looked like me worked for his father. Mm. He felt perfectly comfortable calling me boy. He felt perfectly comfortable calling grown college women coon. Man, them coon women sure look fine.
Mm.
And if I had not taken the time to realize he don't know no better. He don't know no better. If I had not taken the time to help him, and he needed my help, because all of my teammates, all of my friends wanted to beat the life out of him.
Sure.
By the time we graduated, he was introducing me to his family as, hey man, this is my brother. Dad, this is the guy I've been telling you about. He introduced them to his black girlfriend because he no longer saw them as something that he didn't understand. That's not who and what they are. But this group has always had this privilege. Many of them have never had to work for it. Many of them have never have really not had to do much to maintain it. You've had some that if they were ever fully and properly dealt with for the things that they did, many of them would be under the jail.
That's right. That's right.
Many of them never saw a day in jail. This group will look at a quote unquote peer that doesn't look like them and feel like they got the right. I'm going to stop you right now and give you a piece of my mind, because how dare you say something to me that I don't like. And the fact that many in our business that look like you and me don't understand that this is bigger than just Juwan Howard playing press coverage with 45 seconds left to go, or Greg Gard calling timeouts with 5 seconds left to go. That grown man walked by that man and said, I'm going to remember that. And that upset a man of privilege so much that he exercised his privilege physically and then made himself look like a victim afterwards. Another man of privilege ran into the pile and did not add de-escalation, but added escalation with his words. Now, if you just go on what Juwan did, it was his words. This man ran it with his words, and they offended Juwan so much that he hit him. If Juwan had not hit him, would we be wondering if Gard was going to be fired? Would we be wondering if the assistant coach was going to be fired? No, because they're already coming from a place of privilege.
Because that wasn't assault. To everyone that wants to observe the entire scenario, they look at the Wisconsin coaches as their acts were not acts of assault, were not acts of violence or inciting violence. No one is regarding that in that way. And that bothers me so much, because it's how do you not feel the double standard? How do you not feel it come out of your mouth? Journalist, when you're writing the story, how do you not feel it flowing through your fingers? But it is practiced privilege. It is practiced. You were born that way. You see it happening in front of you, and you practice that privilege, and it becomes a natural part of what you do. Again, I go back to, I was beside myself when I realized that Coach Gard was so full of himself, so full of his practice privilege, that he did not see the wrong in his words to say, I wanted to explain to Juwan Howard. This man's been in the Olympics. This man has been at sports levels that Coach Gard can't even dream about. I believe Coach Gard closed his eyes. He can't even dribble right in his imagination. And you think that there is a rule in basketball on the court? Maybe there is a recruiting practice, maybe blackout dates, maybe those kinds of things that are college coach related. But on the court, the rules of the game. James Naismith, that basketball game. You think there's something he doesn't understand? And you think it is now your right and your privilege to explain it to him? First of all, you're not doing it. That's like when a person says, oh no, a person you're arguing with, you're cursing them out, and they say, well, God bless you. They don't mean that. Or I'm gonna pray for you. You don't mean that. You don't mean that at all. You're trying to insert something else to exhibit power over me. You are choosing your words and your actions to demonstrate a power that you do not have. And that's what is bothering a Coach Gard, that he walks away from that game with a win, but he still felt below, in my opinion, below the stature and where Coach Juwan Howard is going in his basketball life. He will never reach that stature of a Juwan Howard. And so what people do, they resort to physical when they cannot overcome simple conversation or what's going on in their head mentally. It's very common. And to your point, he stopped him, he touched him. It was 100% wrong. There should be no touching by coaches, period. You look at a very famous conflict that I was actually afraid could have gone into potentially something ugly on the women's side. Muffet McGraw. We've got in UConn, like seriously, they can't stand each other. They really can't. They really cannot stand each other. And you're going, okay, this handshake, this exchange of conversation, this is not good. This is absolutely not good. But you know, we allow the visuals to happen and the conversation to be steered, and journalists do not have a duty to report it properly. Look,
they don't. And I want to get that out there as well. That's why I, until I cannot speak anymore, will be banging the drum for diversity in broadcast journalism, because there are people to this day that are still saying that Juwan threw a punch. You just want to lie. You're not trying to get it right. You're trying to lie and tell your story the way you want it told. You're not even trying to be accurate. You know, slap, open hand, all of that is accurate. Threw a punch is inaccurate. So when you've got people who don't want to tell the story correctly, but they control the listenership, they got more eyes on them, they got more followers on them, then guess what? Then now people who don't take the time to read it for themselves, who have the subconscious biases that the group of privilege has, they're going to instantly think Juwan Howard was out there just knocking Negroes out. He was out there just knocking folks out of the gym. And that's not what happened. And for people who can't separate one part from the other part to the other part, I got news for you. You should not have anything to do with resolving conflict, because you don't even know how to break what happened apart to get to the resolution of conflict. And I give the Big Ten credit. I give Michigan credit. I got no respect for Chris McIntosh at Wisconsin, but I'm not surprised.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I am 100% not surprised. But AJ, to your point, what did the assistant coach from Wisconsin, what did he say? Do you know?
I don't know, and I'm waiting for the audio. I believe
okay.
Audio out there.
So here's the deal. You don't know. Why don't you know? Because number one, no one has asked, no journalist who wanted to write the other story chose to ask, well, what did you say? What was your purpose for going in there? That's not out there. That story is not out there. It's not even being pursued. And you have to ask yourself again, why is that? Because I will go into the ground. I'm telling you, AJ, if I'm in a scenario and it's a bunch of people in Tulsa and somebody comes up fast on me from the side, I'm telling you what, the left and the right is ready. I'm sorry, because I don't know what you're doing. I do not know what you're doing. I don't know what your purpose is.
Don't understand that just because you haven't experienced what somebody else has experienced, you don't understand that sometimes your actions can cause a person to kick in, allow their adrenaline to kick in, which is a survival mode.
It's human nature.
Whether that be flight, whether that be verbal reaction, it is a survival mode. And it bothers me that grown, educated people can't see beyond their own mindset. Not everybody was raised like you. Not everybody has experienced, and I'm even talking to Black people. Just because you didn't experience racism, just because you didn't experience segregation, doesn't mean that there are not people that are still affected by it. You can be grateful without being degrading. You can be happy without being ignorant to other people's plight. And that's where I'm telling you, man, the saying, not all skin folk are kin folk, it's just true. And it doesn't have to be true, but you don't have to degrade other people's experience because you never lived it. I've never spent a day in a wheelchair, but you best believe I'm never going to put somebody down for fighting for access and rights and same thing when they are in wheelchairs. People just literally want to demean other people's stuff. So they, once again, operate from a position of power. I was in a Starbucks the other day, and there was a guy who supposedly made an order online.
Okay.
And the order was not there. There was a line for the folks who were trying to get walk-up orders. He wanted to cut in front of the walk-up orders because his order was not on. But what he did not have was any record of the online order on his phone. So it made some people think, oh, bro, you just trying to run.
That's slick. Right, that's slick.
There was a brother just trying to get his stuff. They called his name. He tried to walk down and get his stuff, and the man tried to cut him off. And he said, man, don't mess with me. He said, you keep playing, I'm going to start talking about critical race theory, and I'm going to hurt your feelings. I fell out laughing. Everybody in the building fell out laughing. Because if people use the same energy that they use fighting critical race theory against homelessness, against gun violence, against systematic racism, if they use that same energy, that thing would be resolved.
Absolutely.
But to literally force people to rewrite history so it does not hurt their feeling supports everything that I've said. People have been born in a place of privilege, and they don't want to give that up.
Oh my gosh, yes, you said it 100%. Look, you know I went to Texas A&M. I am proud to be a graduate of Texas A&M, but I am forever not happy with some of the moments while I was a student and student activist while I was there. Look, I spoke out against some very racist things that were happening at A&M at a forum while I was walking myself back up to my seat, because this was like in an auditorium. A young man, Caucasian, said, I bet you won't say that to my face, as if like he was trying to buck up. Now, you got to know, the young Jennifer Tebow before Dr. J, but I still do this to this day. I said, I tell you what, take your time, stretch, do what you need to do. I'm going to be up at the top waiting for you, and we can handle this however you want. And so my friends see this interaction, because I'm like talking, he's sitting down, I'm talking, and they're thinking, oh Lord, what's happening? They come to me, I'm up at the top, I'm literally waiting for this dude. I'm stretching, I'm like, whatever needs to happen happens. It's about to happen, because I am not backing down from this entitled, and I had a whole bunch of other words I can't use on this station. I'm not doing that. And so sure enough, the forum's over. He walks up, the door's open, he get a glimpse of me standing there, cracking my neck, cracking my knuckles, ready for whatever. And then he exit stage left and walked off, because he realized I cannot beat this person. I tried to beat them with fear. I tried to tell this woman that, scare her, and this didn't work. And this is all I got. This all I got, because she's ready for me. She's ready for me. I had friends that were standing behind me. I'm sure that was helpful, but I was ready to go. And a bully does not like that. A bully does not like when you say, I'm not afraid of you.
Right.
I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said. And I think that's where Coach Guard's feelings were ultimately hurt, and he decided to flip the script and play victim. And that's why I use the word Karen. I don't use it lightly. Right. We see that all the time when there is an aggressor, and then suddenly there's I'm so hurt moment.
And that's the truth of the matter. And I'm just talking about on his part, because you got so many people out there that can't separate one part from the other. I am not talking about the press 45 seconds. I'm not talking about the timeouts. I'm not talking about what was said. I'm talking about Coach Guard did not control his own actions when he decided to put his hands on another person, because we already asked the question, if it had been a woman, would it be okay? And the answer was no, but no, there's no but. If it's not okay to do it to a woman or to a child or to one of his players, then it was definitely not okay for him to do it to appear.
Absolutely.
You cannot
100%.
be an instigator of that part, just that part, and be the victim. You cannot be the instigator and the victim of the same scenario. If he had just said, I can't believe Juwan Howard said what he said to me, he should be sanctioned by the Big Ten, be a different conversation.
Yeah.
If Juwan, Coach Howard, had not open-handed hit the coach, be a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But those two things and that coach running up there, those were handled from the position of power and privilege that this country lives off of. But let me tell you something about me. I do this thing called studying history for myself. And one thing that is not even up for debate, don't know when it happens, don't always know how it happens, but the people in power often don't stay there. The Roman Empire didn't last forever. Other great powers did not last forever. And one day, just one day, my grandmother used to say this all the time, baby, just keep living. One day, you might look up and you might find yourself not in the position of power and privilege that you used to be in. In South Africa, they thought they were going to be in power and prosperity.
Oh, yes.
And forever. Called it apartheid. We're the smallest group. And baby, one day they weren't. One
That's
day
absolutely right.
Most powerful. One day this there was a time when boxing was the most popular sport in the United States of America. Baseball. One day they weren't. So all I'm saying is one day. I'm not calling for race wars. I'm not calling for civil war between black and white. All I'm saying is just the universe has a way.
Oh gosh, yes.
Of shifting the power. And one day, if they keep living, they might find themselves in a position that they no longer have the privilege or the power. And I want to hear, I probably won't, but I want to hear how they handle things then.
Well, we know they'll handle it badly because even in a position of power, they handle things badly.
Maybe.
And that's the part that, it's such a struggle, right? Like from a Christian standpoint, because you say, okay, God's got it. I don't have to see it, but I know God's got it. But sometimes I know can I just see a little bit? Can I just peek a little bit and just see that they're getting a dose of, and a very strong dose of, the wrong that they were doling out. Like, we want to feel that it is okay, but that's where our faith has to come in to say, you know what, there is a great equalizer out there, and those equalizing moments are going to happen. And but it's a sad part that people have to suffer through those moments. What the quote behind me, there's no easy walk to freedom anywhere. Nelson Mandela. And that is the guide to honest truth, that getting to the better place, you do have to go through the storm.
Yeah. What's crazy is, and I'm done. Did I play the disclaimer? Let me play the disclaimer.
Opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
See, privilege will make you run down to the White House on January 6th because you didn't get the results that you were looking for in a free election. You believe lies and that was stolen and all that, and you'll literally break into the White House of the United States of America. Privilege.
Well, the Capitol.
And I don't mean no disrespect, but privilege will make a person climb through a window that is barricaded with people with guns saying, don't come in here. And privilege will make them still think that they got a right to be in there.
Oh,
and when this person gets stopped with lethal force, privilege will make people think that the person that did their job was wrong and the person that was out of order and there illegally was right.
Absolutely.
Privilege will literally make you think that you got a right to make people do what you want them to do. It will literally make you think that you got a right to marginalize other people so that you can feel better about yourself. And I'm sorry, one day you won't have that privilege. One day.
Privilege is one heck of a drug. It's actually the worst drug that we have out there. It is the most mind-altering drug that you've ever seen. Look, cocaine, all of those. Some of them make you think you can jump off a building and stand on your feet. Privilege makes you believe that, beyond what your eyes see. Again, the Capitol, I'm not trying to get political, but the idea that you feel like you could scale a federal building with the witness of federal law enforcement, and that this is not an issue is beyond me. But it is practice privilege. You practiced it. You practice it. You got reinforcement. Words were told to you constantly. Reinforcement. It's okay. This is what we're doing. Reinforcement. And so then you feel emboldened to do it. And it's been that way for a long time. We see a lot of it quietly,
Right.
but when people group up, and the revolution is being televised, when it's live, then it's eye opening to say, okay, we are still right here. We are probably worse than what right here is. We didn't realize where we really were until we see it for ourselves. And so it's where we are. But Coach Gard needed to have a suspension. As a coach, I'm telling you what, if I'm the next team that Wisconsin is playing, I am making a point for coaches, and I am not shaking Coach Gard's hand. I am not having my players physically touch the Wisconsin players. There would be no handshake line. We would chuck up the deuces, and we would be out of there. Whether we won or we lost, I would be making a point. It is not okay for a coach to touch someone else offensively, period.
Of all people, Coach Tom Izzo of Michigan State has
the next one up
to weigh in and say that the NCAA should under no circumstance do away with the handshake line. This is a man who cannot keep himself under control with his players and is emboldened and given the privilege by others like Scott Van Pelt and Trey Wingo and former players from Michigan State. Listen, man, this mentality that you've got to revere somebody because they know how to coach basketball or they know how to play football or they've had success as a coach. Let me ask you a question. Why are we supposed to revere Tom Izzo, but we're supposed to hate LeBron James?
Mm-hmm.
Why does LeBron have to shut up and dribble, but we got to listen to every word that comes out of Nick Saban's mouth?
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that.
In the south of Dallas, there is a basketball center called the Bob Knight Basketball Fieldhouse.
Oh, baby, let me
okay.
Find you and follow you, please. Please tell everybody where they can find you. We got
absolutely. Oh, I hate that we're out of time. Okay, at Jen Tebow everywhere, social media. If you know how to spell my name, JenniferTebow.com. You'll find me everywhere. Google me, connect with me. Let's talk about this because Lord know I have some things to say.
Girl, let me hit this.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, I just had to get that out there one more time. We have got to go. This has been Talk Your Team Tuesday. We turned it into Talk Your Stuff Tuesday. If I hurt your feelings, if I stepped on your toes, if I made you feel like I don't like you because you're from another culture, that's not true. It's not true. You'll know the truth, and the truth will you free. Okay? So anyway, we'll talk tomorrow for Winning Wednesday. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Take care, Dr. J.
All right. Take care, AJ, and lunch breakers.
All right, y'all. Let's see. We're not going to do Sybil Willis. We don't even have a second to get her in. So let's just get ready for Donnie McClurkin and the Donnie McClurkin Show. Donnie gives you the latest in gospel music and the greatest in the gospel music industry in the morning. Erica Campbell and Griff get up mornings, and then I'll be back with Winning Wednesday. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.